Smart School is a family business that is not just related by blood. Being an employee means that you become part of the Smart School family, where they work, learn, and grow together as a family. Ms. Renell, how was the idea of Smart School formed, and how did you come to establish this family business?
I moved from a small town to Bloemfontein, and the only available post at that moment was a substitution teaching post that I could get for 6 months. And after that, I was kind of out of income, so I decided to start giving extra classes. It started with 2 kids, and eventually they grew, and within a year I had to move to a bigger place where I can accommodate all the kids. And then when Nelmarie came back from overseas, she also jumped into Smart School, become a part of it, and it grew up to what it is today.
Ms. Nelmarie, how does the location of Smart School play a role in the business?
I think it is an important role. Currently, we are trying to be situated right across from the school or within a walking distance. So our current the main branch and the head office is situated in Jock Meyering and Sir George in Bloemfontein, and that basically puts us right across from 2 major schools, which both have a pre-primary, a primary, and a secondary high school facilities. And you know, that convenience of eliminating travel time and just having the kids being able to walk to us, that speaks for itself.
What was the important time during Smart School's existence?
I think, like in every small business, there's a 3-year and a 5-year point that most of the businesses fail within those time schedule. But we were lucky, and we passed it. We are already in our 9th year.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel what we did basically to overcome those general tendencies was we came up with new opportunities and new services to offer our parents.
So can you tell me a little bit about some of these challenges at Smart School, and as well as some of the thriving moments you had?
Yes. I think there was a challenge, a small challenge at one time, that we found that we are not growing. But then we brainstormed and came up with some important and innovative ideas that helped us to grow further.
Yeah. And I think one of the exciting things that happened in Smart School is before we had our current location, we were around about 10 kilometers from the nearest school, and we had a Smart School shuttle service. So at the peak, we had 3 drivers that was transporting kids. And now you can imagine standing outside and these 3 buses come up the driveway and the music is pumping and you can see the kids is happy and smiling, and when the bus stops the kids are just popping out, and that put them in such a good mood, you know, and they opened them up for the learning possibility as well. So I think that was one of the things I can remember from starting out. It's just adding that additional service, but also doing it in such a way that the kids actually want to come to extra class.
I'm sure there must have been a lot of some funny moments
Yeah.
in those shuttles. Ms. Renell, what expectations do you have for the teachers at Smart School?
I think normal business practice, being on time, being disciplined, self-disciplined, discipline in your classroom, and make the learning process fun for the kids. And of course, the teachers must be well prepared for their lessons.
I definitely observed the dedication of each teacher at Smart School, and it made me understand how they can create such a cultural environment at the school. In a business like Smart School, you must have met some very interesting people. Can you tell me about some of these people?
I think at the time we had 4 pairs of twins at Smart School, and that was quite unusual having so many twins. And 3 of them was identical twins, so that made teaching quite interesting. They always tried to no, it's me. And something else that really stands out for me is we had a little girl. She came to us when she was in double naught. And by the time she was part of our afternoon study classes, and by the time she went to grade 1, she was fully able to read and write. And since then, she's been number 1 in our class, and I think she's still the reigning champion.
Yes, and I think we also have and had kids from out of South Africa.
Yeah.
We had Turkish kids that we helped, Chinese learners, and also learners from Lesotho.
Yeah.
We mostly teach them English, but we also assist them with their homeschool subjects.
So tell me about some of the cultural moments at Smart School, or what type of culture Smart School hosts.
Definitely relaxed, but self-disciplined. We try to teach the learners that it's important for them to build up their self-image by being prepared for the next day's school, being prepared for tests and exams. And in that way they taste the success and they become eager to work harder.
What is a typical day like at Smart School?
Hectic.
Dear mekaar.
Ish. I feel, working with kids, there's always a surprise waiting for you. So no day is the same.
Walking around between the classes at Smart School, I can see the dedication of the children. I almost went back to school just to be able to go to Smart School. With statistics where a child's grades improve 40 to 50%, Smart School seems to have discovered the secrets of education. Miss Nelmery, how do you teach the children at Smart School to remember without forgetting?
At Smart School, we focus on storytelling. That helps the kids to associate with current events and local activities, and it helps them to become involved in the lesson.
Why is learning and education so important?
I think learning and education is so important because it builds your future. It's the life that you're going to live for the rest of your life, basically. And then education is not only being book smart, it's also developing life skills.
Why should learning be made fun?
I think having learning should be fun, because if a child is relaxed, they are stress-free, they are in a comfortable environment, it means that they're more susceptible for learning. It helps them to have a better percentage recalling in tests and exams, and it just makes them feel comfortable. It makes them want to be there.
Yeah. How do you deal with a child that does not like to learn, or likes to learn, but he doesn't like school?
The important thing there is to take that child one-on-one and talk to him or her to get behind the story. Most of the time when you get them comfortable, they will tell you what the real problem is. And then also get to know the background of the child a little bit and the personality of the child. And I always tell them, we don't expect you to get 100%, but we just aim to do better than the last test, even if it's just 1% better.
Academic success is a motto that is lived, breathed, and achieved at Smart School. Ms. Renelle, how do you achieve academic excellence at Smart School?
I think self-discipline, and to get the child to realize that hard work reaps success.
Yeah.
There's no shortcut that you can do. You must self-discipline. You must have the self-discipline to know that I have to work to reach something.
What does academic excellence consist of, Ms. Nelmri?
I think important is a study method that suits your personality, but also discipline that comes with hard work. That or a combination of those help you to excel academically.
How do you pursue or foster academic excellence at Smart School?
I think through storytelling, but also by adapting your methods for each individual child. For instance, you have your abstract thinkers. For those ones, you need to lay down facts. You have your concrete thinkers. Those ones are more formula based. And then you have your dreamers that you need to tell a story to. But luckily at Smart School, we have classes of only 5 kids. So a teacher can customize the teaching to each individual child.
Yeah. How long does it take for a child to establish a routine of studying?
I think parents always want a quick fix, but around about 21 days it takes to learn a new habit, and another 21 days for you to enforce that habit or to make it part of your daily routine. So and that's the words that it is hard work.
Yeah. What is important to know about a student in order to be helpful towards them?
I feel I always want to know the sense of humor of the student. So I try and figure out, because when I teach, I like to make little jokes and have like math puns just to keep the lesson interesting.
Okay.
Yes, and I think it's important to know the personality of each child and also a little bit of the background to understand the child better and then be able to help him or her better.
I have an interesting question. What should a child always have with them at school?
I think it's something that no one owns and everyone always wants to borrow, and that's an eraser. Eraser also helps you to erase your mistakes and then make you perfect. And then eraser has other purposes. For instance, it makes a mess, a big mess, and it will irritate your teacher that has to clean up the class. It also is a very good weapon during class fights, and it always breaks into so many small pieces as well. And then when you're really bored in school, it helps. It's a very good coloring surface.
And I think a lunchbox is very important because a hungry child cannot learn.
Yeah. And then a homework book as well. Because we as adults, but also children, are always saying, "Yeah, I will remember," but that is where the thing comes from. Like the dog ate my homework.
Yeah, they just don't remember.
Yeah, they should just write it down.
Yeah. I have learned that a successful business like Smart School does not only measure success in numbers, but also in the children's educational achievements. Ms. Renelle, how do you measure success at Smart School?
When the parents enroll the child, we ask for the report card, so that's a good beginning point for us. And then we build on that. We give exercises and we try to find out where is the gap in this child's learning. so that we can fill in the gaps and make the understanding better to get better results.
So, Ms. Nelmarie, what would you say is the difference between learning, doing, and obtaining knowledge?
Learning for me is when a kid sit in the class and the teacher is actually just teaching on the board and she hopes that someone understands. Doing is where you copy something from your friend or just from the board and you have no idea what's going on. But obtaining is for me important because obtaining knowledge is what you can build your future on.
What is important characteristics that a child should consist of in order to be successful?
Definitely willingness. A child should be willing to learn. You can't force a child to learn. And then to help him or her, we try to build self-confidence and self-respect. We also help them to set goals for them to reach, and reachable goals. And that also helps them to become proud of themselves.
Ms. Renelle, how do you motivate students within the classroom to learn?
I like to tell them or to challenge them, come, let's show your teacher that you can do this work.
Can you tell me a story about how that's worked for a student?
Yes, if I think about this year, I had a girl and she came to Smart School with a 30% mark. And I told her, I motivated her, let's show your teacher that you can do this. And well, she ended up with 75%.
That's
Oh wow,
big
yes,
improvement.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So what would you say is the average class size at Smart School?
We concentrate not to take more than 5 kids per class because that gives us enough time to teach and we have enough time to give individual attention to each child.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are the classrooms equipped at Smart School?
But each classroom is equipped with a whiteboard so the teacher can explain concepts, but also for the students we provide additional notes and exercises, for that practice that they need. And then, if the child behaves, there's always a chair as well.
Ms. Nelmarie, do you evaluate the students at Smart School?
At Smart School, we don't have a formal evaluation, but each of the teachers are trained to evaluate students to identify problem areas and where there is gaps in the education. And then that helps us, because we have such small classes, to focus and fill in that gaps where they missed concepts, and then identifying those problem areas and fixing it before it really becomes a problem that is you can't solve anymore.
Ms. Nelmarie, how is discipline handled at Smart School?
Well, obviously we try to involve the parents, work in a closer relationship with them, and that helps us to run a fairly disciplined practice.
And what would you say is your opinion on discipline versus motivation?
It's a very thin line between discipline and motivation. We do prefer motivating the kids at Smart School, but if it's necessary for discipline, rather do it through a way of motivating the child.
Self-respect, self-esteem, superiority, and honorable are words that each parent wish to hear when their child is described. At Smart School, I can see that the parents are proud of their children. How does Smart School help learners so that their parents can be proud of them?
Well, at Smart School, kids that's underachieving or that is not living up to their full potential, we definitely help them to reach the goals that was set.
What is the definition of being proud?
I think proud goes hand in hand with respect. Self-respect, respect for the teachers, respect for other people.
And why does the teachers at Smart School ask so many questions within the classroom?
I feel the more questions that a teacher can introduce to a child, the better that child will be prepared for exams and tests. And also it helps the teacher to get to know the child better. And because the classes is so small, we can customize our teaching then to the child's needs.
Does Smart School provide any additional tools within the classroom or educational tools?
Yeah, definitely. We do provide additional notes, study notes, practice materials, and then also,
I think we are concentrating on doing a lot of previous exam papers also with the kids to prepare them more.
Yeah.
What about a child with a visual anticipation? How can you help them if they're not necessarily remembering what you said?
For instance, we do provide resources as well for kids that has trouble, grasping difficult concepts. So for 3D objects, if we have to explain that, instead of having a teacher on a whiteboard with a 2D shape, we can bring out the actual 3D object where the kid can have it in its hand, they can look at it, they can actually visually see it as well, and that definitely helps them to grasp such difficult concepts.
Does Smart School provide anything additional to education?
Yeah, definitely. We do run a holiday program as well. It helps just keeping the balance between education and playtime.
Okay, so if I ask you the following question, do you agree with the statement that education without dedication is meaningless?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Ms. Namri, how do you deal with learners struggling with ADHD at Smart School?
That's always a difficult topic. I think it's a topic that's quite misunderstood as well, or it's children that's misunderstood. So what we try to do is we provide them with small stimuli. For instance, a stress ball that can keep their hands busy. It helps them to concentrate. Another method that we found is having the child actually write on the whiteboard. It helps them to get involved and keep being involved in the lesson as well. And then another method may be having the child re-explain stuff back to you, just to keep that kid's interest. And I think that is the big thing.
So, Ms. Ronell, what would you say is your teaching philosophy?
I always try or strive towards the fact that the child must enjoy the subject as much as I enjoy teaching the subject.
Ms. Namri, what can we expect next from Smart School?
Big surprise!
Well, Smart School is in a very interesting phase at the moment. So we are opening up franchises across South Africa and we're taking on the international market.
Oh, sounds like there's big plans up ahead.
Definitely.
After visiting Smart School, I can see why the owner and the employees at Smart School are content with what they do and the students' grades they are achieving there. The school has grown immensely over the past few years, and I think they are definitely ready for the next step. Thinking back about the years when I had to attend extra classes, I would have loved to attend a school like Smart School because I can see the dedication and the passion the teachers have towards the students. The highlight of my visit was definitely meeting all 3 women from the 3 different teaching generations, because I can see the passion they have for the children, that they are making a difference in their lives. And like Frederick Douglass said, it is much easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken adults.